Going. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is, wow, the first Sunday in March. It's looking like spring down here in the South. I don't know about Nova Scotia, but not yet.
Yep.
And certainly not in Michigan, Christiana, all the snow that she's been having. But we are really excited to rock and roll March. And I get the pleasure tonight to introduce a new friend and a wonderful new friend of mine. Just, oh my gosh, it's so that to me is one of the best pieces of, like Andrew and I were talking about today. Without Arbonne, we wouldn't be besties. And then without Arbonne, I wouldn't know all of you, and without Arbonne, I wouldn't know Julie. There's no way. So I get the pleasure of introducing her tonight, and we know each other because we do a Tuesday morning call together that our friend Nada put together for some VPs. It's a WAM, weekly accountability meeting, and there's 7 of us and now, and so. Oh, hey, Amanda, we're glad you're here. That's okay. She said it's Amanda. There's 7 of us, so we call ourselves the Lucky Seven. Um, so anyway, I just love everybody in that group, and I really love Julie, and I can't wait for you guys to hear her story. Julie is a singer, actor, dancer, ERVP, and breast cancer survivor from the East Coast of Canada, and she's been with Arbonne for 10 years. She is beyond grateful to have built this business before she needed it so that when impact hit, she could focus on living and putting all her energy into kicking cancer's ass, y'all. Broadway performer, multiple AIT earner, Canadian main stage speaker. We are so lucky to have Julie. And so I know you guys are going to love, love, love hearing from Julie. So please mute if you're not already muted. And Julie, take it away.
Thank you so much, Polly, first and foremost, for asking me. Um, yeah, this is just such a treat. And if I'm not staring right down the camera, it's because I have some notes and some training on the side. So uh, that's that. So before I get started, obviously, I just want to say my story's not typical. To see what's typical, please go to earnings.arbonne.com. But I'm not here to talk about what's typical. I'm here to talk about what's possible. So yeah, I've been in this business for a decade. Uh, I finally said yes to my dear friend, Executive National Vice President Camilla Eves, after saying hell no to her for 3 years. So we played mother and daughter in the original Canadian company of Mamma Mia. So that's where I met Camilla. We're best friends. And she was one of the first people who came. She came to me when she started this crazy Arbonne thing. And I thought she was doing something illegal. And I was like, no, do not talk to me. And I said no to her for 3 years. So I've been in this business for a decade. So I hope in the next 10 or 15 minutes to not only inspire you, but also just to give you some nuggets. But a lot has transpired in a decade, obviously, you guys. So here we go. So first and foremost, why did I finally say yes? I remember walking into Camilla's new home that she was able to purchase because of Arbonne, and I didn't recognize anybody. But the glow hit me as soon as I walked in the room. Now, we all know about the Arbonne glow, but you guys, this was a glow from the inside. Everybody was so damn happy. And I made my way through all the twinkly Arbonne people out to the backyard where my people were, the actors. There was about 8 of us sitting around a picnic table. And the minute I sat down, I was immersed in a conversation full of negativity, scarcity, dread, no disrespect to any of my artist actor friends who are on the call with us tonight. But if you know, you know. I've been a successful singer, actor, dancer for 25 years. I absolutely love my job. But in that moment, I turned around and looked through the window where the party was really happening, where Camilla and all these Arbonne people were. And I said, I want that. So that's my first bit of advice for you guys. If you're a consultant, if you're a district manager, if you're an area manager, it doesn't matter what title. If you were at any title and you don't hold the title right now, that day I said yes, not because of the earnings potential, not because of the Mercedes Benz in the driveway, not because of the new home. It was because of the people. It was the sense of possibility and potential that I saw in that room that made me say yes. So, no matter where you are in your business today, lead with that. So, I jumped in and ran. I was starring in 2 shows at the time. It was November, and my parents were flying in from Nova Scotia, so about, across the country. They were flying in to see me in these shows in August, and I was determined to earn the VP Success Award by the time they showed up, because I was gonna pick them up at the airport in that white Mercedes-Benz. So, second piece of advice, focus on a goal right from the beginning. If anyone's brand new, focus on a goal as soon as you say yes with a clear end date. Even if you're on this call and you're seasoned, the beautiful thing with network marketing is you can start over today, right? It doesn't matter. So say yes today and write those goals down with a clear end date to smash. In the beginning of this business, anything's possible if you keep it simple, consistent, and don't be scared to fail, right? You have to be okay with looking foolish. You're gonna suck. Embrace the suck. Anyway, I exceeded that goal, and I promoted to the RVP level within 8 months of joining my business. So I was able to pick my parents up at the airport in my brand new Benz. It was the first car I ever owned. Okay, leading up to that promotion, you guys, consistency, duplication in sales, and building a team was key. I really kept it simple. I was adding people in faster than they fell away. Because guess what? Spoiler alert, people are going to quit. A lot of people are going to quit at every single title. It doesn't matter. So, right at the beginning of my business, I also sponsored my first rock star and my first national vice president, my sister. My sister is executive national vice president, Janice Martell. Janice became a national vice president long before me. I'm still working on it. So you're welcome. Here we are, the Martell sisters. She went nation in 11 months. I'm about to go nation in 11 years. Fast, slow, it doesn't matter. Anything's possible. Just don't quit on yourself. So the pity party of being passed by my little sister, questioning my leadership, all of it helped me grow into the person I am today. And I love that person, you guys. So love who you are, embrace all of that, which brings me to my next lesson. All of the bumps, all the disappointments, all the times we fall down and tell ourselves to get up just one more time. If any of you can feel that, I am with you. Just get up one more time. It's so much more than personal growth for your Arbonne business. You are building you. Yes, the biggest, best version of you. Of course, the unstoppable leader. But guess what? Even more importantly, you're building the best mother, the best sister, the best wife, husband, daughter, friend. That's so much more important. So, there were years of disappointments and falling short on my goal. You guys, I can't even tell you how many times I've declared nation. All of it's a blur, to be perfectly honest. There was so many failures. And as I sit here today, it's not even that important. I was maintaining and living a life in this business that was just fine. For years, my sister asked me to go to Maui with her, and I always said no. I said, no, I'm not going until I earn it. And then 2019 came around, and she was going through a really yucky divorce, and she needed her older sister. So I decided to go with her. So I was in Maui. You guys, it was glorious. And we're all going to be there. Like, we are all going to be there, and we're all going to have mimosas, not mimosas, Mai Tais together. But I remember sitting around the pool and talking to all the MVPs and hearing their stories. I remember walking and talking with ENVP Debbie Neal on the way to the welcome dinner. And I was declaring to her that I would be back in 2020 as an ENVP. I practically flew home to Toronto without the plane. My belief was through the roof, you guys. I'd spent time with these one percenters and I said, hey, I belong there. You guys belong there. They are no different than any of us. So, coming home from Maui, the first time in a long time, my actions matched my declarations. Can anyone relate to that? There might be a lesson in there. So anyway, I got home from Maui and the universe decided to hit me with a little bit of impact. It wanted to see if I was ready to level up. So on April 3rd, 2019, I was diagnosed with stage 3 inflammatory breast cancer. Rare, aggressive cancer, came out of nowhere, no cancer in my family. Crap. Within a few hours, this Arbonne community wrapped me up in the most amazing bear hug. And the reason why I said yes, the community was there for me. So my next lesson, like Polly said in the beginning, build this business before you need it because impact is coming. I was never that person. I remember hearing that all the time, impact is coming, impact. And I laughed it off. Like, I sound like such an ass, but like, I was like, yeah, I'm healthy. I work out all the time. I eat well. I'm like, impact. And then boom, out of nowhere. And because I built this business before I needed it, I was able to focus on my health. And overnight, it sounds so kind of dramatic, but overnight, my focus shifted from QV to chemo. And from 2019, all of 2020, every bit of my energy was focused on staying alive. So from the beginning of cancer, I was met with, Julie, you're going to beat this. You're going to fight this, girl, right? Don't like everyone's affected by cancer. And we hear that a lot, right? Fight it, beat it. And that it never sat right with me. The fighting, the beating, it sounded so exhausting. So from the minute I heard those words, you have cancer, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that it was a hiccup, that cancer had picked the wrong bitch. Excuse my French, but I just knew. And every day I approached my days with curiosity, gratitude, and laughter. I know this may sound insane, but rarely did I allow myself to feel like a victim. I embraced the suck, obviously. There were tears, but ultimately I knew that I was going to be able to help people through this experience. Anyway, somewhere in the haze of it all, I started connecting cancer and this whole experience back to my business because I had been fighting for a title for so long and I was exhausted. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. So, because of this cancer situation, I was like, no, no more. I started to approach my life and my business with the same flow that I was approaching getting rid of this yucky cancer situation. So, next lesson, you did not come this far to just come this far. No matter where you are in your business today, take a breath, embrace the suck, find the joy, commit, decide to be a lifer. It's not going to go as planned. Be coachable, keep it simple. Comparison is the thief of joy. I don't know if any of you can relate, but I love social media, but sometimes it can be really hard on you mentally. I give you permission to unfollow people. Sometimes it's just not healthy, right? So find the joy in your business. Going through cancer, I remember getting to know so many people when I was sitting in my chemo chair for hours and hours. And so many of those people were still working a job. And I was so thankful for the Arbonne opportunity. Knowing that I built this business to region, I had the flexibility to work it when I wanted to. So we all need to understand the magnitude. I'm holding up my hand, the magnitude of what we have in our hands. I went through chemo, radiation, a double mastectomy. Now I'm just starting reconstruction. Through all of it, I've been able to focus on my health because I built this business and had the flexibility to work this business around my schedule. To this day, I build this business around living. that is what we have to offer people. So please remember that life is not a dress rehearsal. We don't have to do our bond. We get to. It's that huge, you guys. I truly, truly believe that life is not happening to us, it's happening for us. So, in this moment, all of the storms, all of everything that you've gone through, know that it's building you to a place that you need to be. Like sometimes the stronger the storms, they're just, you're meant for more. I always, people always used to say, I can't believe, I couldn't believe I have cancer, but I knew I was able to handle it. Absolutely. And it's the same with Arbonne. Sometimes some of us are just dealt a really shitty hand going through this business, but you are going to be able to step up and lead the most incredible team because of the pits you've been in. I dare you to live full out. Don't forget that abundance is your birthright. It's not skipping the 9 or 10 of us on this call tonight. It is there for you, for the taking. Someday is not a day of the week. That was my thing before cancer, right? I'll get to it someday. I'm going to go to Italy someday. I'm going to go to Portugal someday. Go now, right? And if you can't go now, we know we have the opportunity to help us get there, to not only change your life, but so many people's lives. Time is so finite, you guys. It's so precious. I dare you not to waste a second of it. That's it. Thanks, friends.
Oh my goodness. Julie, that was incredible. I was making notes, but it was just your story. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
My
It
God.
was it was it was incredible. And I know you mentioned having some time to for questions. So we've definitely got time for that. So does anybody have questions?
Yeah, if anyone wants to ask anything, please.
I was wondering what you think about. I'll go since nobody is going yet. But what do you think about, like, have you seen, I know you've been in 10 years, I've been in 17, Andrew's been in 18, some other people on this call have been
18
in
this
for
month, 18 this week.
18 this month.
Woo-hoo.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Happy Arbonne birthday.
Thanks.
So I was
My
wondering
Arvin
what,
business can vote.
Yeah.
well, hey, call up the home office and tell them I have a vote now. Um, but I was wondering what you like, we were talking a little bit before this about just the climate right now and just like, we all see every business go through, ups and downs. So if anybody's feeling a little bit like, wow, like you even said, it's just like go through the day, be grateful, embrace the suck, and
Mhm.
sometimes there is that in our business as well, y'all. And I think we've kind of seen that a little bit just in general. I think it's not just Arbonne. I think it's just in general. What are your thoughts on that? Um, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, it totally does. I think too, it's important for all of us to know that when any of us are feeling that, most people are feeling that, right? Like you're not alone. Like you're not the only person whose business is sucking, or if you're losing a title. People lose titles all the time. Like you cannot, and this is something like we tell ourselves all the time. It's easier said than done, but your worth is not attached to those letters, right? Like we're here. Like for me, I just decided this is a lifer. I'm self-employed. I got nothing else. And ultimately, I don't want anything else because of the community, because of the people, because of the person I've grown into. And like for sure, I'm sure, Andrea and Polly and anyone else, like this is the hardest thing I've ever done. Like I, many of us are probably one percenters or high achievers in our other careers. And I didn't think this was ever going to be this hard for me. But that's a reason why I'm never throwing in the towel, because I know my time is coming. And you just have to remember your time is coming. And if Arbon's having a hard time or you're having a hard time, like everybody is, right? Like it's just it's the roller coaster of being an entrepreneur. And it's the biggest learning curve. And but just to know that it's not, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. And Camilla always says, like, this business lives or dies between your ears, right? So you have to, it can be so isolating and so sort of as an independent consultant when you're not necessarily in a team, like in a room with your team every day. Just call people. You have the most amazing upline. Like, Andrea, I don't know you, but Polly, like we've become such amazing friends in such a short amount of time. Lean on each other,
Mhm.
don't vent for more than 5 minutes, but know that like we're here to help each other and link arms and then move
Mhm.
on, find solutions.
Like, thank you so much for sharing your story. I can relate to it a ton on the like theater side of things. So that'd be a fun conversation one day.
Yeah.
But um in terms of like just like vision painting for people who are just those people, like you know their own potential for them, I guess, that they would just thrive, especially having your sister being one of those people for you. It's like, what would your advice be on that specifically, vision painting for someone
Yeah.
without like growing up on them?
Yeah. So I really think the best part, like, because of course I fall in love with people's potential all the time. And I have so many actor friends who I know would just thrive and change their life because of this opportunity, but they can't see it for themselves. And there's so much starving artist mentality, and just people tend to lean into a scarcity mindset rather than abundant mindset naturally. So I truly believe the best thing for us to do is to be the proof. Show them, right? And whether you show them with the car or just traveling, or but just being happy, being present, being grateful. Like I said in the beginning, I didn't say yes because of all the flashy stuff. I said yes because, oh my God, those people were just so present and happy to be there. Most people we see hate their life, right? Like they're unhappy, even if they're not vocal about it. Most people want more, and we have it. Maybe they won't give you a second to hear. So then show them just by showing up and living your your best life without the hype. Like I'm not a hype girl, but just look at you there. Like you're just so beautiful and lovely and present, right? That's showing up. Did that answer your question?
I mean, yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I love that. It's like the ice cream cone. They always say instead of shoving it in somebody's, like if you shove it in somebody's face, they're going to back up. But if you just stand there and lick it on a hot day, they're going to want some.
That's good. Yeah. Hmm.
Well, thank you for being such an inspiration. And how can we follow you?
You can find me on Instagram at Jules Martell, I think is my, Polly follows me, so she could probably share my handle with you guys.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
I'll I'll post it for y'all in Facebook because
Mhm.
she does a really beautiful job. And also Julie does on Wednesday nights at 7 Central, I think for us it's at 7. She does these just 20-minute casual conversation with other entrepreneurs. It's not always Arbonne. She had a great guy on last Wednesday who has he was also an actor, I think,
Yeah,
Julie, and
yeah,
also started a cookie store,
yeah.
and it was really good. And then sometimes it's Arbonne people, but it's just a casual conversation. So it's nice because it's not in your face about, oh, Arbonne, you should do this, but you can send those to people. And I've sent them to people, like you had Nada on, and she's got she was an ex-farmer rep. So it's just like sending somebody an Arbonne My Story or something almost, except I don't know. It's just nice because it's not
Yeah.
just like Arbonne is this and this and this. It's very just some casual, hey, well, how did you start? Or, what were some of your hesitations? And so I'll post that for you guys so you can find her on Instagram, and definitely go to her reels so you can see. And you don't leave them up forever though. You said just for a little while, Julie.
Yeah, I usually, because I do it every week, I usually just leave them up for a week. And then every
Okay.
week there's a new
Yeah.
guest on. And yeah, everybody has a different voice and something interesting to say.
Yeah. So awesome. This
Cool.
was amazing. Anybody else have a question before we finish up or comment?
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for being here. Thanks for sharing your story.
Oh my God, my pleasure. And yeah, absolutely. Reach out. And, I think it truly is one of the best parts of this Arbonne opportunity is we are better together, right?
Absolutely.
We can learn from each other
Yes.
constantly.
Yes. Gosh, what a treat, y'all. What, Jean? I think you're muted. You're muted, Jean. You're still muted. Unmute. There you go,
There
Jean.
you go, Jean.
I did it. I just said so upbeat. Thank you.
Oh my God, my pleasure. I truly believe energy is everything. I
Yes.
was I was doing a training for Camilla earlier today, and that's exactly what we were talking about. That like energy is so important in this business, and especially right now when so many of us maybe are feeling in a hit and we're questioning our leadership, and just there are many times when I'm just ready to throw in the towel. Polly and I talk about that, but I'm not. Like I say that jokingly, but it can be turned around with energy, right? Like people, people will say hi to you or start a conversation with you when you're standing in line at Starbucks because of your energy, right? So it's just energy so important. So and thanks, Jean. Like I feel like that's why I'm alive today, because I was like cancer schmancer. Like so it's the same. Arbonne schmarbonne. You got it.
I think that's so good, such a important point to say that, we all have those same feelings. We all feel like throwing in the towel sometimes, but we didn't. We're still here, we have grit, we still show up. But it's good to hear that, right? Because sometimes you might, like you said, Julie, when you're by yourself in your home, and nobody's answering any of your reach outs, and you're just like, everybody hates me, and you're in your head about it. That's the worst. And so you need to know that's normal. We all have those same things.
Yeah.
It's just, we just keep going.
Yeah.
We just keep going.
It's totally. And it's very normal. So instead of just, celebrating the big goals and the big wins, start celebrating those small wins. Every day, celebrate something.
And Julie, there was something that you said that reminded me. I don't know if y'all had remembered this training that Tara Brandsma had done at a GTC one time before. But like basically, like she showed us like a snapshot of her business, like where it was like highs and lows and highs and lows. And I mean, you'll see that in Arbonne. I mean, you stick around long enough, you'll see like the highs and you'll see the lows. And but then she like zoomed it out over the period of time she had been in it. And she like said it was like such a blip on the radar, like of like really like what that meant in her business, because like, just over that long period of time, it really didn't mean much. But like when she was in it, like the highs and lows were so apparent. So like if you're going through that and you haven't been in Arbonne a long time, or you're just like basing it off of like the few months that like you're basing it off of, like don't sweat it. Like pull back and think, like this, I've got a business of a lifetime, and what does that mean over the course of a lifetime? Does it matter that, my numbers like, bump up a couple thousand, bump down a couple thousand? No, not really, and then, and again, like what you're saying, like like celebrate the small wins, because that ultimately is like what gets you to the big wins, and that's what helps you keep your sanity.
For sure.
Andrea always taught me to stay on the kiddie roller coaster, not the big Goliath roller coaster.
That's
So
right.
it's like you're like this, not like this,
Yeah.
emotionally, because
Yeah.
otherwise you'll go crazy.
Well, and it's just like the same thing. Like when you would call me up and be like, I met the most amazing person.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, great, we'll see. Because then when she'd call me crying, being like, no, they quit. Okay, no problem. We'll see. Like, I mean, it's just like everything, like great, 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 great,
Yeah.
because it's like
Keep going.
nothing's too bad and nothing's too good. It's
No,
just
totally.
all kind of like this.
Yeah, exactly.
know?
Camilla's always like, next. Who's next?
Next.
Who's next? You're celebrating or
next?
they're quitting. Who's next? Who's next?
Yeah.
I remember hearing, similar to Andrea, what you were just saying. There was Sue Cassidy was doing a training for us, and she was talking about that same sort of thing about, we tend to get in this mindset where we're looking at a turd through a straw. So like we're focused on that instead of the big green pasture ahead. We're just like looking at that, and that's all we can think of. So don't look at the turd through the straw.
That's the best.
I know.
Perfect.
That is the best. Okay, that's it. I'm writing that down from tonight.
Turd through a
That
straw.
was worth the whole phone
That
call
was
right
worth the-
there.
You're welcome.
You're
Like,
welcome.
it's not me. ENVP Sue Cassidy. I remember her sharing that with us.
Oh
She
my
did this
God.
whole training, like long. She painted this whole picture, but it was all about this turd through a straw, and I have never forgotten about it.
So
Who would
true,
forget
though. It's
that?
perfect perspective.
That
Yeah.
is so good.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, on that note, we will end. We are at 8:01, and we're so grateful. Thank you, Julie, again. And
Thank you
thank
so
you guys.
much.
Aren't y'all so glad you got on? I mean, wow. Amazing. So, all right. Well, everybody have a wonderful week. That was a great start to our next week. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Polly.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Okay,
Nice
Bye,
meeting everybody.
everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Bye. Thanks
Bye.
for being here.
Bye-bye.
Bye.